The morning started like any other on Kepler 442b. Hyunwoo walked through the mining tunnels, checking the crystal formations that grew deep in the planet's core. His people, the Vorthons, had been mining here for 10 years. They were careful workers who never took more than they needed. Hyunwoo was different from other Vorthons. While his people were calm and quiet, he always felt things more deeply. When small animals got hurt near the mining site, he would stop his work to help them. His mate Jinnah often smiled at this habit. She worked as the colony's healer and understood his kind heart. That morning, the sky turned strange colors. Purple and green lights danced across the horizon like angry spirits. The older Vorthon said it was a solar storm. These storms happen sometimes, but this one felt different. It was stronger and lasted longer than usual. All workers must stay inside, announced Bo-Ram, the colony elder. His crystal body glowed with worry. The storm will pass in 2 days. Hyunwoo stayed in his home with Jinnah. They lived in a small cave that they had carved into the mountain. Like all Vorthon homes, it was simple but comfortable. Crystal lights provided soft warmth, and the walls were smooth from years of careful shaping. On the second day, the storm grew worse. The ground shook and bright flashes lit up the sky. Then they heard a sound that made every Vorthon stop what they were doing. It was the sound of something crashing, something big. That came from the valley, Jinnah said, her voice tight with concern. We should wait, Hyunwoo replied, but his feet were already moving toward the door. The storm ended on the 3rd day. As soon as it was safe, Hyunwoo gathered a search team. Bo-Ram did not want them to go. It could be dangerous, the elder warned. We do not know what fell from the sky, but Hyunwoo felt something pulling him toward the valley. It was the same feeling he got when he found hurt animals. Something needed help. The team walked for 2 hours through rocky paths. The storm had changed the landscape. Trees were bent and broken. Rocks had moved. And then they saw it. A metal ship lay broken in the valley. It was unlike anything the Vorthons had ever seen. The metal was smooth and strong, but it was twisted and torn from the crash. Smoke still rose from its broken parts. Stay back, warned Woo Jin, the youngest member of the team. It might explode. But Hyunwoo was already walking toward the ship. Something told him that waiting would be wrong. As he got closer, he could hear something. It was faint, but it sounded like crying. The ship had a large crack in its side. Hyunwoo looked inside and gasped. There were bodies inside, but they were not like any creatures he had seen. They had soft skin instead of crystal. They had hair on their heads. And they were much smaller than Vorthons. Then he heard the crying again. It was coming from deeper in the ship. Hyunwoo squeezed through the crack. The inside of the ship was dark and full of broken things. He followed the sound until he found a small room. Inside, sitting in a corner, was the smallest creature he had ever seen. It was a child. Hyunwoo knew this immediately, even though the child looked nothing like a young Vorthon. The little one had dark hair and large wet eyes. Its clothes were torn and there was dried blood on its face. When it saw Hyunwoo, it made scared sounds and tried to hide. Shh, Hyunwoo said softly, the same way he spoke to frightened animals. He made his crystal body glow with gentle, warm light. The child stopped crying and stared at him. Hyunwoo slowly reached out his hand. The child looked at it for a long time, then touched one of his crystal fingers. Its small hand was warm and soft. Jinnah, Hyunwoo called. Bring your medical bag. Jinnah squeezed into the ship and gasped when she saw the child. What is it? She whispered. I think it is a young one, Hyunwoo said. Look at its eyes. Look how it holds itself. This is someone's baby. Jinnah moved slowly toward the child. She had helped many hurt animals and she knew how to be gentle. The child let her examine its wounds. There was a cut on its head and bruises on its arms, but nothing too serious. The others outside, the child said suddenly. Both Vorthons froze. The child could speak. The words sounded strange, but they understood the meaning. Others? Jinnah asked. The child pointed toward the front of the ship with tears in its eyes. Mama, Papa. Hyunwoo felt his heart break. He looked at Jinnah and she nodded. They both understood. This little one had lost its parents in the crash. They spent an hour searching the ship. They found 2 adult bodies in the front section. One was female, one was male. They had died protecting something. When Hyunwoo looked closer, he realized they had used their own bodies to shield the small room where they found the child. They died saving their little one. Jinnah said quietly. The child seemed to understand. It cried harder and said words they could not understand. But the pain in its voice needed no translation. Hyunwoo picked up the child carefully. It was so light and fragile. The little one clung to him like he was the only safe thing in the world. "What do we do?" Jina asked. Hyunwoo looked at the child, then at Jina. In Vortan culture, there was no question about what to do when you found a lost child. "You took care of it. You protected it. You loved it. We take him home," he said. "But the elders will have questions. We do not know what kind of creature this is. We do not know if it is dangerous." Hyunwoo looked at the child again. The little one had stopped crying and was looking at him with trust. This was not a dangerous creature. This was just a scared, hurt baby who needed help. "Look at him," Hyunwoo said. "Does he look dangerous to you?" Jina smiled. She reached out and gently touched the child's soft hair. "No. He looks like he needs a family." They wrapped the child in Jina's medical blanket and carried him out of the broken ship. The other team members stared in wonder. "What is it?" asked Woo Jin. "His name is Taemin," Hyunwoo said, though he did not know where the name came from. It just felt right. "And he is coming home with us." 6 months had passed since Hyunwoo and Jina brought Taemin home. The small human child had changed everything in the Vorthon colony. At first, the elders were worried. Boram spent many nights asking questions. What does it eat? What if it carries diseases? What if more of its kind come looking for it? But Taemin was just a child. He cried when he was hungry. He laughed when something made him happy. He got scared during thunderstorms and ran to Jina for comfort. These were things any parent could understand. The biggest surprise was how quickly Taemin learned. Vorthans spoke by making their crystal bodies glow in different patterns. Each color and brightness meant different words. Most young Vorthans took years to learn this properly. Taemin learned the basic patterns in just 2 months. "Light, warm, happy," he would say in glowing crystal language when Jina gave him food. His pronunciation was wrong, but everyone understood what he meant. Jina had become like a mother to him. She taught him how to eat Vorthan food. Though she had to find special things that his soft human teeth could chew, she made him clothes from soft crystal fiber. She sang him Vorthan lullabies that made her body glow like stars. Hyunwoo was like his father. He took Taemin to the mines and showed him how crystals grew. The boy was fascinated by everything. He asked questions that even the oldest Vorthans had never thought of. "Why do the crystals grow in circles?" Taemin asked one day. Hyunwoo had been mining for 20 years, but he had never really thought about it. "I do not know," he admitted. Taemin studied the crystal formation carefully. Then he did something no Vorthan had ever done. He crawled into the small space where the crystals were growing and looked at them from inside. "They grow toward the warm spots," he called out excitedly. "The heat makes them want to grow that way." Hyunwoo was amazed. The boy was right. This discovery helped them find better crystals and made their mining more efficient, but not everyone was happy about Taemin at first. Boram, the colony elder, thought the human child was too different, too wild, too unpredictable. "Young Vorthans are calm and careful," Boram complained to Hyunwoo. "This little one runs everywhere. He climbs on things. He makes loud noises. He is not like us." This was true. Taemin was full of energy in ways that surprised the Vorthans. He would run when they walked slowly. He would laugh loudly when they spoke quietly. He would try to climb the highest rocks just to see what was on top. One day, Taemin's curiosity almost got him killed. The colony had a deep pit where they threw broken crystal pieces. The pit was very deep and very dangerous. All young Vorthans knew to stay away from it. But Taemin heard sounds coming from the pit. He thought there might be an animal trapped down there. Without telling anyone, he tied ropes around his waist and climbed down to help. Woojin found him there an hour later. The young Vorthan was terrified. "Taemin, what are you doing?" "There is a hurt bird down here," Taemin called up. "I cannot reach it." Woojin quickly called for help. It took 6 adult Vorthans to pull Taemin back up safely. And yes, there was a small bird trapped on a ledge. The boy had been right. Boram was furious. "This is exactly what I mean," he said to Hyunwoo. "He is too dangerous. He does not think before he acts." But Hyunwoo looked at the small bird that Taemin had saved. It was hurt and scared, just like Taemin had been when they first found him. "He risked his life to save something smaller and weaker than himself," Hyunwoo said. "How is that different from what we do for him?" That night, Jina explained to Taemin why the pit was dangerous. She did not shout or punish him. She just helped him understand. I wanted to help the bird, Taemin said sadly. Did I do wrong? You did right to want to help, Jinna said. But next time ask for help first. We are your family. We will always help you help others, Taemin nodded seriously. Family helps family. Yes, Jinna said, her crystal body glowing with warm love. Family helps family. The real change came during the storm season. Every year, dangerous storms hit the colony. The Vorthons would hide in their deep caves and wait for the storms to pass. But this year's storm was the worst anyone could remember. Lightning struck the main power crystal that gave light and heat to the whole colony. Without it, they would freeze. The power crystal was on top of the highest mountain. To reach it during the storm would be almost impossible. The adult Vorthons were too heavy to climb the wet, slippery rock safely. We will have to wait until the storm ends, Boram said. But everyone knew that might be too late. Taemin had been listening quietly. Then he spoke up. I can climb it. All the adults stared at him. He was still just a small child. It is too dangerous, Hyunwoo said immediately. You are too little, Jinna added, but Taemin was already moving toward the equipment room. I am small and light. I can go places you cannot go. The bird pit taught me to be more careful. He was right and everyone knew it. Taemin could climb better than any Vorthon. He was small enough to find handholds that others could not use, and he was brave enough to try. Boram argued against it for an hour. But as the colony grew colder and darker, he finally agreed. They tied strong ropes around Taemin and gave him tools to fix the power crystal. Hyunwoo and Jinna wanted to go with him, but the mountain was too dangerous for their heavy crystal bodies. Be careful, Jinna said, holding him close. Come back to us, Hyunwoo added. I will, Taemin promised. Family always comes back to family. The climb took 3 hours. The whole colony watched through their crystal viewers as the small figure moved up the mountain. Sometimes he slipped. Sometimes he had to rest. But he never gave up. When he reached the power crystal, it took him another hour to fix it. His small hands could reach into spaces that adult Vorthons could never access. When the lights came back on, the whole colony cheered. Taemin had saved them all. When he climbed back down, Boram was waiting for him. The old elder looked at the tired, wet but smiling human child. I was wrong about you, Boram said quietly. You are not too different from us. You are exactly what we needed. That night, the colony held a special ceremony. It was called the Crystal Heart Ceremony, and it was only done for the most important occasions. They had never done it for someone who was not born Vorthon. But as the whole colony surrounded Taemin and made their crystals glow in harmony, everyone agreed. This small human child was not just living with them, he was one of them. He was family. And in Vorthon culture, family bonds were stronger than anything in the universe. 2 years had passed since the Crystal Heart ceremony. Taemin was now 9 years old and had grown taller, though he was still small compared to the Vorthons. He spent his days learning from Misun, Jinna's sister, who had become his teacher. Misun was patient and kind, just like Jinna. She taught Taemin about Vorthon history, mathematics, and crystal science. But Taemin's favorite lessons were the ones where he could teach her about human things. Humans play games for fun, Taemin explained one day, drawing pictures in the sand. This one is called chess. You have to think many moves ahead. Misun found this fascinating. Vorthons did not play games the way humans did. They preferred quiet meditation and crystal harmonies. Young-ho, who was in charge of colony defense, often joined these lessons. The Vorthons had never needed much defense before. Their planet was far from the main space routes, and they were a peaceful people. But Young-ho was curious about everything, especially the strange human ways of thinking. Humans must be very smart to build ships that travel between stars, Young-ho said. My mama and papa were explorers, Taemin said proudly. They wanted to find new worlds and meet new friends. It made everyone sad when Taemin talked about his birth parents, but he never seemed sad about it anymore. Hyunwoo and Jinna were his parents now. The whole colony was his family. Life was good and peaceful. Then everything changed. It started with strange signals in the sky. Young-ho noticed them first on his monitoring equipment. There are ships coming, he told the colony elders. Many ships. The Vorthons were not worried at first. Sometimes trading ships would visit their planet to buy crystals. The visitors were always friendly and respectful, but these ships were different. They were huge and dark, shaped like giant insects. When they landed outside the colony, the ground shook under their weight. Creatures came out of the ships. They walked on two legs like Vorthons and humans, but they looked like giant lizards. Their skin was rough and green. Their teeth were sharp and yellow. Their eyes were cold and cruel. Boram went to meet them along with other colony elders. It was the Vorthon way to greet visitors with respect and kindness. The leader of the lizard creatures was bigger than the others. He wore metal armor and carried weapons. When he spoke, his voice was like rocks grinding together. "I am Commander Veltar of the Kreltar Empire," he said. "This planet now belongs to us." Boram's crystal body flickered with confusion. "I do not understand. This is our home. We have lived here for many years." "Not anymore," Commander Veltar replied. "You will work for us now. You will mine crystals for the Empire. You will obey our rules, and if we refuse?" asked another elder. Commander Veltar smiled, showing all his sharp teeth. "Then we will destroy your colony and find other workers." The negotiations went on for hours. Hyunwoo stood with the other adults, listening and growing more worried with each word. The Kreltar wanted everything. They wanted the Vorthons to work like slaves. They wanted all the crystals. They wanted complete control. "We need time to think about this," Boram said finally. "You have one day," Commander Veltar replied. "Give us your answer tomorrow or we will take what we want by force." Taemin had been hiding behind a rock, watching everything. He understood that these lizard creatures were bad. They wanted to hurt his family. As the Kreltar walked back to their ships, Taemin started to follow them. He wanted to hear their plans. But he stepped on a loose stone and it rolled down the hill making noise. Commander Veltar spun around and saw him. For a moment, nobody moved. The Kreltar commander stared at Taemin with wide, shocked eyes. He had never seen a human before, but he had heard stories about them. "Impossible," Veltar whispered. Then he shouted, "Seize that creature!" But Taemin was fast. He ran back to the colony as quickly as he could. The Kreltar soldiers chased him, but they were too slow and heavy to catch a quick human child. When Taemin reached safety, Hyunwoo grabbed him and held him close. "What were you doing out there?" "I wanted to listen to their plans," Taemin said, breathing hard. "But the big one saw me." An hour later, Commander Veltar returned with more soldiers. His face was angry and excited at the same time. "You have been hiding something from us," he said to Boram. "Show me the human child." The Vorthons looked at each other in confusion. They did not understand why the Kreltar cared about Taemin. "He is just a child," Boram said. "He is part of our family." "That is no ordinary child," Veltar replied. "That is a human. My people have been fighting humans for years. They are dangerous warriors. They destroyed one of our war fleets in the Rigel system." Hyunwoo felt his heart stop. Taemin, dangerous? The idea was ridiculous. Taemin was gentle and kind. He saved hurt birds and helped with crystal mining. "You must give us the human child," Commander Veltar demanded. "Now." "No," Jinna said immediately. She stepped in front of Taemin, her crystal body glowing with fierce protection. "He is our son," Hyunwoo added, standing beside her. Commander Veltar laughed. It was a cold, cruel sound. "Your son? That creature is a weapon. Humans are born killers. They fight without fear and never surrender." Taemin stepped out from behind his parents. He looked up at the giant Kreltar commander without showing fear. "I am not a weapon," he said clearly. "I am Taemin of the Crystal Heart clan. These are my people." Veltar stared down at him. "You may think you belong here, little human, but your kind destroyed my brother's ship. 3,000 Kreltar warriors died because of humans like you." "I never hurt anyone," Taemin replied. "I help people. All humans are the same," Veltar said. "You are all dangerous," he turned back to the Vorthon elders. "I will give you new terms. Give us the human child, and you can continue living here as our workers. Keep the human child and we will destroy your entire colony." Boram's crystal body went dark with shock. "You would kill everyone for one child?" "That child represents a threat to the Empire," Veltar explained. "As long as he lives, other humans might come looking for him. We cannot allow that." Young-ho stepped forward. "What if we promise to keep him hidden?" "No promises," Veltar replied. "The child dies or you all die. You have until tomorrow at sunset to decide." As the Kreltar walked away, the entire colony gathered around Taemin and his family. Everyone was talking at once. Some were scared. Some were angry. But everyone was confused. "Why do they hate humans so much?" asked Woo Jin. It does not matter, said Misun firmly. Taemin is one of us. Boram looked very old and tired. They have many ships and many weapons. We are just miners and crystal growers. How can we fight them? We do not have to fight them, Taemin said quietly. Everyone turned to look at him. I can go with them. If that will keep you all safe, I will go. The silence that followed was complete. Then Gina made a sound like breaking crystal. No, never. You are our child. Family does not abandon family, Hyunwoo added, his voice shaking with emotion. But they will hurt you all because of me, Taemin said, tears starting to fall down his face. Boram walked over and knelt down so he was at Taemin's eye level. The old elder's crystal body glowed with warm, gentle light. 2 years ago, I thought you were too different to be one of us, he said. I was wrong. You are not different. You are exactly what a Vorthan should be. You think of others before yourself. You risk your life to help those in need. You are brave and kind and good. He stood up and addressed the whole colony. This child would sacrifice himself to save us. That is exactly why we must not let him. He is our family. And we protect our family. Young Ho stepped forward. What are you saying? Boram's crystal body grew brighter. I am saying we fight. The colony worked through the night. For the first time in their peaceful history, the Vorthons were preparing for war. Young Ho had become their military leader, though he had never fought in a real battle before. He studied every piece of information they had about the Kreltar ships and weapons. Their ships are strong, but they are not impossible to damage, he told the gathered colonists. Our mining lasers can be turned into weapons. Our crystal shields can protect us for a while. Haewon, the colony's best engineer, had been working with the mining equipment all night. I can make the lasers stronger, she said, her crystal body dim with tiredness. But we only have 6 of them. The Kreltar have many more weapons than we do. We do not have to win, Young Ho explained. We just have to survive long enough. Long enough for what? Asked Woo Jin. Young Ho looked at Taemin, who was sitting quietly with Hyunwoo and Jinna. Long enough for help to arrive. Earlier that night, they had sent out a message using their strongest communication system. It was aimed at the space around their planet, hoping that someone would hear it. The message was simple. We have your child. We will protect him. If you can hear this, know that Taemin of the Park clan is loved. They did not know if any humans were close enough to hear it. They did not even know if humans would care about one lost child. But it was their only hope. Sung Min, the oldest Vorthan in the colony, had been telling stories to keep everyone's spirits up. He remembered the old days when Vorthons sometimes had to fight dangerous animals or natural disasters. Our ancestors were not always peaceful, he said. They knew how to be strong when they needed to be. That strength is still inside us. Ji Hye, one of the youngest adult Vorthons, had volunteered for the most dangerous job. She would operate the main mining laser, which meant she would be the first target for enemy weapons. I am not afraid, she said, though her crystal body flickered with nervousness. If they want to hurt Taemin, they have to get through me first. As the sun rose, the Kreltar commander returned with more soldiers. The alien ships had moved closer to the colony during the night. Now they surrounded the Vorthons completely. Have you decided? Commander Veltar called out. Boram stepped forward. Beside him stood every adult Vorthon in the colony. Behind them, the children were safely hidden in the deepest caves. We have decided, Boram said clearly. Taemin is our family. We will not give him to you. Commander Veltar's eyes grew cold and angry. Then you have chosen death. We have chosen love, Jinna said, moving to stand beside Boram. Something you would not understand. The Kreltar commander laughed his cruel laugh. Love will not stop our weapons. You have 1 hour to change your minds. After that, we will destroy everything. As the Kreltar walked away, Taemin broke free from Hyunwoo's protective grip and ran after them. Wait, he called out. Commander Veltar turned around, surprised. I will come with you, Taemin said, but only if you promise not to hurt my family. For a moment, the Kreltar commander looked almost surprised by the boy's bravery. Then his cruel smile returned. You are in no position to make demands, little human, he said. We will take you anyway, and we will still destroy this colony. Your people know where you are. Other humans will come looking. We cannot allow that risk. Taemin felt his heart break. There was no way to save his family. The Kreltar wanted to destroy everything he loved, no matter what he did. Then I will fight you too, he said, his young voice shaking with determination. Commander Veltar laughed again. You are just a child. I am a human child, Taemin replied, and I will protect my family. Something in his voice made the Kreltar commander stop laughing. For just a moment, he saw something in the boy's eyes that reminded him of the human warriors who had destroyed his brother's fleet. A cold certainty. A willingness to do anything to protect what mattered. Get back to your people, little human, Veltar said quietly. Enjoy your last hour with them. Taemin returned to the colony, where Hyunwoo and Gina were waiting with worried expressions. That was brave but foolish, Hyunwoo said, hugging him tightly. I had to try, Taemin replied. They are going to attack no matter what we do. The final preparations were made quickly. The Vorthons had built crystal barriers around their most important buildings. Their weapons were charged and ready. Everyone knew their job. Taemin wanted to fight alongside the adults, but Hyunwoo and Gina refused. You are too young, Gina said. But I can help, Taemin argued. Humans think differently than Vorthons. I might see things you miss, Young-ho had been listening. He is right, the defense coordinator said. Human tactics might be exactly what we need. So Taemin was given a safe position in the command center, where he could see everything and help with strategy. He studied the Kreltar positions and movements, remembering everything his birth parents had taught him about problem solving. They are surrounding us completely, he observed. But that means they are spread out. If we can make them think we are attacking in one direction, maybe we can surprise them from another direction. Young-ho nodded thoughtfully. That could work. The hour passed too quickly. As the sun reached its highest point, the Kreltar ships began to power up their weapons. The air filled with a humming sound that made everyone's crystals vibrate unpleasantly. Commander Veltar's voice came from speakers on his ships. This is your final warning. Give us the human child, or face destruction. Boram activated the colony's communication system. His voice was calm and strong. We are Vorthons of the Crystal Heart clan. We do not abandon our family. We do not bow to threats. If you want to harm our child, you will have to destroy us all. The attack began immediately. Bright beams of energy shot down from the Kreltar ships. The crystal barriers held for the first few hits, glowing brightly as they absorbed the weapon energy. But everyone knew they would not last long. Return fire, Young-ho commanded. The modified mining lasers shot back at the enemy ships. Jihai's laser scored a direct hit on one ship's weapon, causing it to explode in a shower of sparks. Good shot, Taemin cheered, but there were too many enemy ships. For every weapon they damaged, the Kreltar had 10 more. The crystal barriers began to crack under the constant bombardment. We need to retreat to the inner defenses, Young-ho said. As the Vorthons fell back to their second line of defense, Taemin noticed something on the long-range sensors. Young-ho, he called out excitedly, look at this. The defense coordinator looked at the sensor display and gasped. Ships, he whispered. Many ships. On the edge of the solar system, dozens of new contacts were appearing. They were moving fast, heading directly for the planet. Who are they? Gina asked. Taemin stared at the sensor readings, his heart pounding with hope and fear. I think, he said slowly, I think they are human. The human fleet arrived like thunder. Commander Veltar was in the middle of ordering his ships to destroy the Vorthon colony when his sensors started screaming warnings. Dozens of human warships dropped out of hyperspace around the planet. These were not exploration ships like the one that had crashed years ago. These were military vessels built for war. They were sleek and deadly, bristling with weapons and armor. All Kreltar ships prepare for battle, Veltar commanded. But his voice had lost its confidence. There were more human ships than he had expected. The largest human ship moved closer to the planet. A voice came over all communication channels, speaking in both human language and translated Kreltar. This is Admiral Jae-sung Kim of the Terra Defense Force. You are attacking a protected colony and threatening a human child. Withdraw immediately or be destroyed, Commander Veltar snarled. The humans have no authority here. This planet is ours by right of conquest. Wrong, Admiral Kim replied coldly. Any species that protects human children is under our protection. You have 10 seconds to withdraw. We outnumber you, Veltar shouted back, though he was not sure this was true anymore. 10. Admiral Kim began counting. Attack! Veltar screamed to his fleet. 9, 8, 7. The Kreltar ships opened fire on the human fleet. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 fire. What happened next was not really a battle. It was more like a lesson. The human ships moved with deadly precision. Their weapons were more advanced than anything the Kreltar had seen. Their shields absorbed enemy fire while their own attacks cut through Kreltar armor like paper. Captain Insu, who commanded the Marine forces, had already launched attack shuttles toward the planet. His job was to protect the colony and rescue the human child. Da-Un, the communications officer, had been the first to receive the Vorthan message 2 days ago. She had immediately reported it to Admiral Kim, who had ordered the entire Third Fleet to respond. A species that would risk everything to protect one human child deserves our full protection, the Admiral had said. Down on the planet, the Vorthans watched in amazement as the space battle unfolded above them. The Kreltar ships were being destroyed one by one. Some tried to retreat, but the human ships were faster. Incoming shuttles, Young-Ho reported. Human shuttles heading for our location. Taemin's heart was beating so fast he could barely breathe. He was about to meet other humans for the first time since his parents died. The first shuttle landed in the colony's central area. Armed human soldiers came out, but their weapons were lowered in a peaceful gesture. Captain Insu was tall and strong, wearing battle armor that looked very advanced. When he saw the Vorthans, he stopped and bowed respectfully. "I am Captain Insu of the Terra Defense Force," he said in the Vorthan language. "We received your message about the human child." "Is he safe?" Boram stepped forward, his crystal body glowing with relief and gratitude. "He is safe. We have protected him as you would protect your own young." Then Taemin ran out from behind the crystal barrier. The human soldiers stared at him in surprise. They had expected to find a prisoner or a scared refugee. Instead, they saw a healthy, happy child who was clearly loved and cared for. "Are you Taemin of the Park clan?" Captain Insu asked gently. "Yes," Taemin replied in human language, though it sounded strange after speaking mostly Vorthan for so long. "But I am also Taemin of the Crystal Heart clan. These are my family." He ran back to Yunwoo and Jinna, who wrapped their crystal arms around him protectively. Captain Insu looked at the scene with understanding. This was not a rescue mission anymore. This was a family reunion. More shuttles landed, including one carrying Admiral Kim himself. The Admiral was older than the other humans, with gray hair and kind eyes. He walked slowly toward the Vorthan elders. "I am Admiral Kim," he said. "I want to thank you for protecting our child." "He is our child too," Jinna said firmly. Admiral Kim smiled. "Yes, I can see that." He looked at Taemin, who was still standing between his Vorthan parents and the human soldiers. "Taemin, would you like to come home with us? Back to human space?" Taemin looked up at Hyunwoo and Jinna, then back at the Admiral. "This is my home," he said. "These are my people. I do not want to leave them." "But you are human," one of the soldiers said. "You belong with humans." Taemin shook his head. "I belong with my family. And my family is here." Admiral Kim was quiet for a long moment. Then he nodded. "I understand. Family is the most important thing in the universe." He turned to address all the Vorthans. "Your species has shown incredible courage and love. You risked everything to protect a human child. That makes you special to us." Boram stepped forward. "What does that mean?" "It means," Admiral Kim said formally, "that the Vorthans are now under the protection of the Terra Defense Force. Any attack on your colonies will be considered an attack on humanity itself." The space battle above had ended. The surviving Kreltar ships were either destroyed or fleeing. Commander Veltar's flagship had been crippled, and the commander himself was now a prisoner. Dayun reported to Admiral Kim through her communication device. "Sir, we have captured the Kreltar commander." "What should we do with him?" "Bring him down here," the Admiral replied. "I want him to see something." An hour later, Commander Veltar was brought to the colony in chains. He looked around at the humans and Vorthan standing together, and his face showed confusion. "I do not understand," he said. "Why did so many human ships come for one child?" Admiral Kim looked at him with disgust. "Because that is what families do. They protect each other." "But he is just one child," Veltar insisted. "And these are not even his real species." Taemin stepped forward. "They are my real family," he said clearly. "They saved me. They loved me. They were willing to die for me. That makes them more real than anything else." Admiral Kim nodded. "Commander Veltar, you and your people made a mistake. You thought that being human was about species or biology, but being human is about how you act. It is about protecting the weak and loving the innocent. He gestured toward the Vorthans. These people are more human than you will ever be. Over the following days, the humans worked with the Vorthans to establish a permanent protection agreement. Human patrol ships would regularly visit the Vorthan colonies. Human technology would help improve their defenses. But more importantly, cultural exchanges would begin. Young Vorthans would be invited to study at human universities. Human children would come to learn about crystal science and Vorthan philosophy. Taimin would be the first human ambassador to the Vorthan people. He would live on Kepler 442b with his adoptive family, but he would also help his two peoples understand each other. On the last day before the human fleet departed, Admiral Kim had a private conversation with Hyunwoo and Jinna. "You gave him something that we never could," the Admiral said. "You gave him a family's love when he needed it most." "He gave us something too," Jinna replied. "He taught us that family has nothing to do with what you look like on the outside." "Will you take care of him?" Hyunwoo asked. "Will humans accept that he belongs with us?" Admiral Kim smiled. Commander Veltar was wrong about one thing. This was not just about one child. This was about a principle. Any species that protects human children becomes part of our extended family. He looked at Taimin, who was playing with Wu Jin, and some of the younger Vorthans. And families take care of each other. Years later, the story of the Vorthan colony became famous throughout human space. It was called the Guardian Protocol, the promise that humanity would protect any species that showed kindness to human children. Many other alien races heard the story and were impressed. Some of them began to reach out to humans, hoping to build similar friendships. Taimin grew up to become a bridge between worlds. He was equally comfortable in crystal caves and metal starships. He spoke Vorthan crystal language as fluently as human speech. He understood both species so well that he could help them solve problems that neither could solve alone. But no matter how far he traveled or how many people he met, he always returned to Kepler 442b. He always came home to Hyunwoo and Jinna, to Boram and Youngho, to Misun and Woojin and all the others, because they had taught him the most important lesson in the universe. Love makes family, and family is forever. And throughout the galaxy, whenever humans encountered new species, they would tell the story of the Vorthans. They would explain that humanity judged other peoples not by their strength or their technology, but by their kindness. The universe became a little bit safer and a little bit more loving, because one small boy had found a family among the stars.